Hey everybody, my name is Courtney and welcome to the Dandelion Branding channel. At Dandelion Branding, we are a digital marketing agency that works with sustainable brands. And on this channel, I put out videos all about digital marketing tips for those sustainable brands. And we also have a podcast called Environmental, where we deep dive into different aspects of sustainability, learn a ton, and then chat about it together, my business partner and I, and we always try to frame things in an environmental and social justice lens. So if you are interested in that, then click that subscribe button. We would love to have you. And today I'm going to be talking about 3 quick tips for improving your website design. At Dandelion, we are a digital agency, so we work with updating websites every day. So we think it's always a good idea to be working and updating your website, but there's probably no better time than now because it is August, so we are mid Q3, and we are rapidly approaching the 4th quarter of the year where you might be wanting to run a holiday sale. So working on optimizing your site and really testing things out and making some improvements now is really going to set you up for success to have that big sale at the end of the year. So I hope these tips are helpful, and let's get started. Tip number 1 is improved imagery. So this is something that we see pretty often with sites that are sort of more DIY, and it's small or unclear, kind of grainy images. And that's a real big issue because when shoppers and folks who are browsing your site aren't able to really see exactly all the details about a product, or are seeing some images that are kind of outdated or a little bit poor quality, it's kind of off-putting, and it definitely doesn't give the impression of a really high quality product. So an easy way to really up the professional aspect of your website is to use nice high quality imagery. And this doesn't mean that you need to go and invest in a professional photo shoot, because most of the time we have a phone or a device around us that can take relatively high quality images. We encourage you to focus a little bit more on choosing, just finding some nice lighting, maybe a nice white background, and taking some still photos of your products if you are a product brand. If you provide services, then nice photo of yourself, perhaps of your physical space if you have some sort of an office or workspace, and you working, things like that can really kind of visually show and communicate what it is that you are offering. And to supplement some of those actual photos that you might be taking, there are a ton of awesome stock photo websites out there that are totally free and offer some really, really nice high quality images that can be used to kind of supplement your more specific product photos and brand photos. And these can be used as sort of backgrounds for sections, perhaps with text over top, or just as a way to kind of add some additional color and infuse a little bit more of sort of a visual brand identity onto your site. Number 2 is when you are building your pages, I want to empower you to embrace white space or open space. It doesn't have to be white if the background of your site isn't white, but whatever brand color it is that might be the background of your pages, embrace some open airiness on your website. There's nothing quite like a site that kind of immediately tells you that it's a little bit outdated, then a ton of text, small fonts, very little space in between everything, kind of all stacked on top of each other. It's a pretty outdated style, so it's not something that is really attractive for a more contemporary consumer. So embracing white space, adding, spacers in between your sections, allowing each of your sections a little bit more room to breathe. Will also make your website just easier to browse, easier for people to actually digest what they're seeing on your site, what they're reading. If everything is all smushed together in a big block of text, chances are folks aren't going to read that. So really encourage you to use more separation of blocks of text, perhaps, some differentiation of sizes depending on the importance of the particular message and things like that. Using space as well as different text sizes can be an effective method of communicating visually what is the most important thing for your visitors to see and to look at. And number 3 is reusing some design elements throughout your pages. And the goal of this is to really build more cohesion on your site overall. And so when you're building your site, you should look at your pages sort of as a whole and not as individual things, not as individual pieces. Though they are individual pieces, your website is experienced all together. So if there is, for instance, some more kind of wavy visual element on one page, maybe some sort of a divider between sections, that's on one page, and then someone clicks over and goes to another page, and all of a sudden it is a completely different style, completely different look. Maybe now the separator is zigzags or something much more sharp than a wavy line. That's a very different vibe. And your brand and your website is a representation of your brand identity. So you want to make some pretty specific choices in terms of the elements that you want to use, the styles that you want to reuse, and making sure that there's a little bit of that on all of your pages will really increase the cohesion. And that's definitely something that users are attracted to. And in fact, if there are things on your site that might be a little bit jarring, that can be quite off-putting. So that is something that we see often on folks that come to us when they have lower than ideal conversions on their site. These are all things that we have learned through the process of continually looking at the data and optimizing our website, that these are definitely 3 really quick and easy changes that you can make on your site that really help to infuse more of your brand identity through your site and to just overall create a more visually cohesive experience that's a really nice and immersive feeling for your website visitors. So I encourage you to make some of these updates if your website is needing a little bit of a refresh. And if you do, then you should also work on installing some sort of a heat map tool on your site to see how users are actually interacting with certain elements. This is a great tool, something like Hotjar or Crazy Egg, which I have a video about. I can insert that here. Boop, boop. Those tools are really incredible to help you to really have some data behind making changes on your website. So I definitely encourage you to check those out. And if you ever need any help with anything, then don't hesitate to reach out. We love website update projects, so we are always here and happy to answer any questions or anything at all. So feel free to comment below if you have any questions specific to your site. But yeah, I hope that these tips were helpful. Happy optimizing and have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching.